Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just want to get on this morning. Happy whatever day it is. I believe it's Tuesday. Coming to you, yes, in a hotel room. We being all fancy this morning, but had a message and really just didn't want the morning to go without me giving the message. This one is a little bit weird because I'm actually looking at myself backwards, and so it's like everything. Okay, my left is my right is my left. So it's gonna be interesting, but wanted to get on live and share some messages with you all as I often do, and then we're gonna get on with the rest of our day and be okay. So this one, I always try to give a title, but wanted to talk a little bit about preparing for the upgrade. And so, when I'm out and I'm traveling, it's always interesting where when I'm traveling for business, I often get an upgrade. And it's not something that I expect or, you sort of like, I got my fingers crossed. I hope it happened. That'd be good. So I'm renting a car. They're going to give me a nicer car. If I come into the hotel room, they're going to give me a nicer room. And so when I checked in a couple of days ago, they were like, welcome, Miss Sims. We're so happy that you're here and that you're joining us. And we know that you have signed up for the standard, but we want to let you know that we upgraded your room, and so now you got the deluxe room. Whatever that means, that means that I get a chance so that I can spend more money if I move something out that stop refrigerator. That's all we're gonna say. But I love it because as I was getting ready to prepare for this trip, one of the challenges that I have when I'm working for business is that there are certain expenses that are paid up front. And I'm going somewhere with this. And the expenses are paid up front. And so it's like, okay, I know that's already taken care of, And if you haven't traveled like me, when you go to a hotel, they usually ask for, your ID and your credit card for incidental. So just in case you break something, we need a card on file to make sure we ain't got to come find you. We know that we're going to get paid. So it's almost like a guarantee. And so you usually do that. And as long as, you don't take nothing out the refrigerator or you don't do this, and this, all of those things will be taken care of. Well, one of the benefits when I facilitate the conferences is that they kind of cover all of that. So any charges, dinner, whatever it is, beverages, extracurricular stuff, they cover all of that. But the upgrade that I wanted to talk to you all about is this. I had to check in to get the upgrade. And many of us in our lives, we've got plans for things to do. And, I keep reminding us that we've got probably less than 60 days now to the end of the year. And I know for many that seems like, oh, wow, that's not enough time to do anything. But listen, you can write a book. Like I literally joined a class and I do a lot of workshops. And it's like, how to write a book in 7 days. Now, look, that book you're going to get from me, we ain't going to talk about it. I need more than 7 days. But there are things that you can begin in your life, and I usually try to encourage us to start because guess what? When you start it, there's a checkpoint, and we can kind of say, okay, what's your checkpoint? Have you started some things? And I'd love to know if you've been encouraged by our messages and you have started some things so that you understand that you can't get to the finish line. You can't get to the celebration. You can't eat the cake, anime, if you don't start it. You can't get to the celebration if you don't start it. And so I just really feel really, kind of strong in my spirit that there's a lot of people who need to start the thing. And then in a couple of weeks, we're going to check in and be like, how far have you gotten? Have you gotten any progress? Do you need motivation to keep going? Because once you start it, we continue to be here, and then I'm on here on my personal page, but I share these messages with my Twisted Thread family. It becomes part of our YouTube series and YouTube channel. And so it's always an opportunity for us to encourage one another. But we want to kind of just put in your mind how the process of the upgrade happens, And so when we think about the upgrade, it's the same thing, back in the day, I'm Beyonce, all y'all in the Beehive. I won't say nothing, but yeah, she would say, let me upgrade you. But you had to actually approach the situation and be a part of that activity to get the upgrade. And many of us, I think, we get complacent, we get comfortable, and we expect blessings to find us. But when it comes to that next thing, sometimes we get stagnant and want to stay right where we are. And we're not even trying to figure out, okay, how can I go after that thing? How can I start this thing? And I always talk about starting businesses and writing books and, sharing your testimony. And it might be you starting a Bible study. It may be you starting a support group. It may be, I love it because I know a couple of groups of women who they kind of babysit each other's kids so that one mom gets a break. I think they like made a movie about it as well, but this is real life stuff. So when you understand that you don't have to do it alone, and I think a lot of people, one of my downfalls and challenges as I was raising my kids was I rarely asked for help. And so people would have to see me struggling and bring it upon themselves to be like, you know what, sister, I'm going to step in and I'm going to help you. Why? Because pride was in the way, because ego was in the way. But look, it could have been a lot easier than I made it and I got in my own way. And so I try to be transparent with you all with how I live my life, with how I kind of go forth with a lot of the things that these are lessons that I learned to be like, wow, if I didn't do that way, I probably could have saved myself from a headache. I could have not done it the hard way. I could have gotten a village around me. And I know that as the years went on and I had grew my village for helping me raise my children, and even with Twisted Threads, there are people who are assisting on the sidelines and they don't mind. Why? One, because I put in the time and I've helped them and assisted them and supported them. And so it literally is yes, I'd like to make a withdrawal from the places that I've deposited in. And there go my alarm. And so when I think about the things that I've done and what I could do better, I try to share that with you all, because maybe you are moms to young children and you're trying to do it all by yourself. Look, there's no award for you killing yourself, to try to do all things and struggle with things with your children, when you can create a village for yourself, give yourself the opportunity to kind of to live better, to get deposits of love in your life, to get people who will support you. There are those, and maybe you got, toddlers and they've got kids who are, 3 and 4. Well, they're right ahead of the journey in front of you, but they could give you advice for how do you live your life. And so again, when we think about the upgrade, got to make sure that you got to show up. I didn't get the upgrade until I actually checked in. Some of us, we making plans, but we're not checked in. Come on now. I felt that one. Look, when I come in here and they gave me the deluxe room, I got, heated towels and whatnot. I'm like, and I'm just walking in there barefoot for no good reason. I don't even know why. Because my floor at home is not heated. I got to have rugs and, I'm trying to step on obstacle course to make sure my feet don't hit the cold. But here in this hotel, we have heated towels on the floor. And so my upgrade is a little bit different. I got snacks here every night. Y'all know I don't need that, but they left them. And so it would be rude for me. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. That's my story. Upgrading, making sure that we got to start a thing. We got to show up. We got to move out of our comfort zone. Didn't want to come on here long for you, but definitely wanted to share the message that we got things to do. And as I mentioned, we got 60 days left about 60 days left in the year. And so we've got opportunity to do some additional things, or at least to start them. The other thing that I want to remind you is, I know a lot of times I talk about sharing and building and having folks in your life who will help and assist, but you got to kind of be very careful. And so one thing that I want to remind you is that as you're moving to the next phase, sometimes you got to go into that stealth mode where you're moving and nobody knows the direction that you're moving into, but that you're going to share with them when you show up at the destination. There'll be people. I love it because the movie Harriet is coming out at the end of this week, and there's so many messages that I expect to kind of get all bubbly and oozy woozy for. The thing is that with Harriet, she knew the people. She had to learn the people who she would trust. And one of the things that they talk about the movie and talk about who she was, it was that she was able to be invisible in places that she needed to be invisible. And for many of us, while we're planning, while we're sticking, while we're grinding, we got to be invisible for a while. And you know what? Sometimes being invisible is painful, because you want to share, your joy. You want to share your passion with people. But here's the thing. Even in that thought of, if Harriet would have talked to the wrong person, like they would have shot her dead and she wouldn't be free. Never mind all of the people who she was able to impact and move them into freedom. Look, these are lessons that seem like so far-fetched, they're here in our everyday life. And when we understand that we have to detox ourselves from negative people. And part of that might mean we got to detox ourselves from, maybe it's mom, maybe it's dad, maybe it's sister, maybe it's brother, maybe it's your children. Look, sometimes you got to put some space in between you and other people so that you can be well. I know we have been talking a lot because this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're talking a lot about it. I just did a radio show with Cornerstone Sessions and my good sister friend, Tilta Halo, aka Nikita. And we talked about mental health issues. You know, I've been talking about it a lot, specifically for men, because every 20 seconds a man takes his life. And when a man takes his life, you know, as women, we are givers of life, but men create life. And so it's like, as they are helping us create life, we got to make sure we preserve them. Why? Because we need the man. Don't let anybody tell you you don't need them. We need the men. We need them to act better. Okay, I'm gonna be good. Morning, cousin. Good morning, everybody who's already got on. Just remember, you know, there will be hard times. When you're preparing for the upgrade, the standard, the basic, you got to go through those things to get to the point where it's like, okay, we're going to get to that upgrade. But don't despise small beginnings. Don't despise struggles. I know I shared a word of encouragement with one sister that's close to me. And sometimes the hard stuff where, you know, we might ask, oh my goodness, why God? Why would it be me? Why would you choose me to go through this? Why, you know, give it to the one over there. She don't even treat her family right, or that one over there. Like, we always have a thought for somebody else should go through the struggle. But when we understand the fact that if we are the ones going through the struggle, that means that God had a purpose for it in our lives. That means that if we lost that loved one, you know, it's not a feel-good moment, but we can help somebody once we take the time to heal. We can help somebody who's lost a parent. You know, we can say the right things to somebody who had to bury a loved one. We can say the right things to someone who had to go through hardship. We can say the right things and give support. And so sometimes we don't want to do the hard thing, but when it keeps coming at our door, you know, the thing is this. And I equate the fact that I'm a landlord, and every day, every month I learn something. You know, I learn something new. I learn something new about being a landlord. I learn something new about, all right, don't mess with my money. Don't be trying to burn down my she shed. I ain't the one. Y'all got to go. Or how do we welcome new people in? What's the right atmosphere we want to set for people? But even in business, when I'm moving through with Twisted Threads, it's like, okay, how do we get more videos out? What's the next thing in marketing? What's the next thing in getting these speaking engagements? What else do I need to do? And so the grind doesn't end, but it doesn't have to be a struggle. And so you make the time for the things that you want to make time for. And I know that it's hard. And cousin, you know, Candace, you stay on my mind with Noodle and how she's growing. But these years are going to go so quickly. So even in times when it's like, oh my goodness, this is so overwhelming, I need 5 minutes to breathe. It's like, you know, lock yourself in the bathroom, or at midnight, give yourself that opportunity, whether it's tears to cry. I cried so many tears raising these kids of mine, and I didn't know how things were going to happen, but I did trust God. I trusted him. And one prayer that I will always pray, it's like, wow, you know what? God, I believe, but help my unbelief. Because there'd be times be like, I don't know how you're going to do this. And I am a woman that I believe I'm a woman of great faith. But there would be times where it'd be like, Jesus, I don't even know how you're gonna do this. But guess what? Even this weekend, I had some things that I needed to happen, and I left it there, and I'm practicing that. And so as I'm coming on here and giving these messages to you, understand I'm practicing them for myself as well. There is no easy way to do this. Whether you're raising kids, whether you're single and you don't have any other, you know, as my parents, my mama would say, chick no child. Lord, I don't even know what that means, but be like, she don't got chick no child to worry about. But there may be some issues in my Florida Evans voice for those who got one kid. You know, it's like little old woman who lived in the shoe, got one child and don't know what to do. It may seem like a struggle today, but there is a benefit because you are loving your children. There is a benefit because you're loving your loved ones. But if they don't love you back, make sure that your love tank is full. Make sure that you got what you need first. When I travel, you get on the airplane, they always remind you, if in the case of emergency, put your mask on first, and then you help somebody. Many of us are struggling because we are helping everybody but ourselves. In this season of upgrade, in this season of harvest, in this season where we're going for the bag, we're ready to secure the win, we're doing all of these things, we cannot afford to be so busy minded about other people's business that we forget we should be about our business of taking care of ourselves, of making sure that we've got sound mental health, of making sure that we are meditating, that we are praying, of making sure that we show up for the upgrade. Look, as I mentioned to those earlier, if I didn't check in, I wouldn't have got the upgrade. If you're not checking into what your purpose is, you don't have to expect the upgrade. Why? Because ain't nothing gonna happen. But if you move outside of your comfort zone to where you need to be, to living in your purpose, to making sure, I mentioned to many people, I pray, I follow the leading of the Holy Spirit, the angels that are assigned to me, I gotta pray, Lord, let today be easy for them. Why? Because yesterday they was working. Like, okay, I'm not going to tell that person off. Yes, Holy Spirit. I'm not going to tell, I'm not going to be mean to that person who is mean to me. I'm not going to give back to them revenge and those type of things, but I'm going to retaliate with love. And so I know that sounds crazy when it's like retaliate with love. Yeah, because sometimes we got to get it out of our system. When that energy comes to us, we got to do something with it, but we don't have to give it back as hate. We don't have to give it back as shade. We could give it back in love, and then they be like, what just happened? Leave them dazed and confused, okay? Show some love when they're not expecting it. The upgrade is a real thing. We're expecting it because we're showing up. We got 60 plus days to the end of the year, and I'm not going to stay on here long, but I wanted you all to be reminded, like, we're preparing for the upgrade. The first step is go get it. If you don't check in, don't expect the upgrade. Understand that you had to make some deposits in order for your withdrawal to come. You had to sow some seeds in order to reap a harvest. So there's some time in between the seed time and the harvest time. And it's okay for you to be anxious about it in the sense of you have a heart of expectation. But don't give yourself anxiety over, is this going to happen? Is it going to come? Is it going to come to pass? Why? Because that feeds seeds of doubt. And when you feed seeds of doubts, guess what? Odds are that it's going to win because you're going to shrink back. Be like, oh, I knew this wasn't a good idea. I knew I shouldn't have did this. I knew. Look, sometimes you got to take the trip. You got to check in. You got to let them say, Miss Sims, we know you paid for the standard, but we just wanted to let you know we upgraded you to the deluxe. Sometimes you got to enjoy the bask of what that deluxe means. I don't know where I'm going to find some heated towels, but I need to find me some heated towels. But this stuff comes in my mind so that, when I get the big check and I go to the house, clearly I'm going to have to build my house. That's something that the Lord is just like put in my heart, because I'm going to have to build the house. Why? Because I want stuff. And it seemed like if I build it from the ground up, then I could have my heated tile floors in my bathroom and I don't got to worry about where the slippers at, because, my feet not going to get cold. I get angry when my feet get cold. That's a whole nother story. Okay, I'm rambling. Look. Day 2 of the conference. We got a couple of things going on today. Of course, she is presenting and answering questions and, just trying to make sure that people understand kind of industry-wide the things that they need to have. And I love it because, the day was over and I'm about to go upstairs and I gave everything I had. And one of the women was on the elevator with me and she was like, I just love your energy. She said, because you're so passionate about this. It's like, I got to get like that. Like, I have to get some of that passion for it. And honestly, I've been doing this for 20 years. This is what the Lord opened the door for me when I wasn't even checking for this. This was not like, this is going to be my career. I was like, I need a job. That last place about to close up and I need to find a way to feed my kids. And the Lord opened up a door for me and show me favor in the area of kind of nonprofit industry. And now all of these years later, it wasn't in my plan. And so I mentioned that to you because the upgrade may not be in your plan, but it's in God's plan. And so if you follow God's leading, if you follow being good to other people, and I say start there, because if you're good to people and you show love, we're taught and they'll know that we're Christians by our love, but we are also commanded to love one another. together, you know. And so if you start there, chances are you'll get deeper into it, and maybe you'll add some prayer, and maybe you'll add some other stuff. I'm not a bandwagon chaser. I'm not a person who's like on everything, but I do believe that when we stand up for each other, when we support each other, our sisters, our brothers, we go further. We get to do more. We get to be more, and we get to experience more. And isn't that what our life is about? So that we could experience more, so that we could be better. I'm supposed to be downstairs. I'm going to be on my way facilitating some stuff. They were like, well, you can, or you don't have to. Look, tell me yes or no, because I'll be like, all right, I'm going to show up for my spot, and I'll see y'all later. But I just had to get on and get this message, preparing for the upgrade. There are great things that we have to do. And I'll mention this last thing. Don't be afraid of collaboration. If you feel in your spirit, I get people oftentimes to be like, I don't know why, but I feel like I can tell you this. And they tell me stuff, and I be like, oh, and shock. Not usually, but I know when I'm on assignment, I try to do the same thing to share encouragement. I was able to do that this weekend. You know what? In this Washington, D.C., I know y'all hear, well, maybe y'all hear it, maybe y'all don't, but it's like a lot of sirens that happen all the time. I don't know what they doing here in D.C., but they better calm down. You know, they got till tomorrow, and then y'all can go back to your regularly scheduled program. Today and tomorrow, though, y'all better keep it good. Why? Because Karen in the building, so we need to keep everything safe. I love you all. Have a great and amazing day. Remember to, like and share. Go on the YouTube channel, Twisted Threads LLC. We on here. We're out here with these messages and just trying to remind us that we want to impact the world, but it really just starts right where we are. It starts right in our living rooms, in our hotel rooms. It starts right in the lobby. It starts, at the workplace. It doesn't have to only be in a church house or in a spiritual setting that we are expecting to show love and share grace with people. So make it an amazing day. It's Tuesday. For those of you who are looking for a Friday, don't hold your breath, because it's going to be a little while, but make today matter and show some love to somebody today. Expect the upgrade. And if you get an upgrade, come back and find this page and be like, Karen, I showed up, I checked in, and here's where the upgrade came. Because I know that this is the season that we're in. And so I'm expecting to know that you all are doing that and that you're impacting. Thank you, cousin, for sharing the message with your friends. Hopefully my friends and family continue to share these messages, because we never know what somebody is going through. Don't be afraid to cut off toxic family members. I don't know why I got to end with that one, but somebody needs to hear that. Cut off them crazy family members. If they acting nuts, leave them over there in the corner until they get right. And then, they could come back later. They could come back. Maybe they can't come for Thanksgiving dinner, but maybe, we could go to the pumpkin patch together or something. We could go apple picking. You can't come in my house if you got like an ornery spirit or like you want to cause some mess. Yeah, you can't do that. That ain't gonna work for me. But I love you still, and you are still on the prayer list. You just can't disrupt what God is doing in my life right now. And so I'm very selective with people who I haven't. Have a great and amazing day. Candy, I love you. Kisses to you, and all you doing, stay encouraged, cousin, because I know that one. She princess. That's all we're gonna say. Have a great day. Love you for coming on. Share, I'll see you all soon.